Hey, so I wanted to do a little, not get ready with me, what would be the opposite of that? Good night with me? Um, because, one of my posts is getting a lot of traction, and a lot of folks are asking me, as somebody who's like fully covered, how can I support SW, and how can I create a safe space for them? So, let's do this together. So this is The Ordinary. I love The Ordinary. My friend actually bought it for me when I had a birthday a couple years ago, and I've just been hooked. I think this is like actually the supply that she bought me. I've never actually purchased my own. Shout out to her. She just keeps supplying me with more. Right to when it's around my birthday, it's just magically when I run out. Anyway, so this is plant-derived squalane, and I put this on every night. And anyway, so we're gonna do a little story time on how I came to desire, creating such a safe space for SW. So when I first got into my master's program, when I did my interview, it turned out I didn't have enough counseling experience. And I did my master's in counseling, right? And I was so determined to get in that I was just like, also, if, y'all skincare people, don't come for me. This is how I do my skincare. And I had nothing on my skin, by the way. So I just do this every night. Obviously, I will remove my lipstick and my eye makeup before I sleep. Anyways, so when I was doing my interview for my master's program, I came to find that I just did not have enough counseling, like face-to-face counseling experience, although I had 10 plus years of domestic violence experience, and I had experience facilitating workshops, and I just had all this experience that I thought would qualify as like counseling because, I was working with people and I was providing a safe space for them. It wasn't actually counseling. It wasn't a formal counseling experience. So this is Also Ordinary, niacinamide. I don't know. How do these makeup people do it? I'm not a makeup person. Anyways, and so part of my deal actually was that I would, do some work with counseling as I was doing my program, and I had to do it right away. So my program director gave me a couple of options of things that I could do, and one of them was volunteer on a hotline that was for first responders and SA. Now that we're all shiny, we can continue. So I took up that volunteering position, and I actually ended up volunteering for that hotline for 3 years, and I had, a Sunday shift from 6 a.m. to noon every Sunday. So I was, doing my schoolwork throughout the week, and I was working full-time still with domestic violence, with facilitating workshops, all that stuff, but I was also doing this on Sundays. And what ended up happening was I started really connecting with the people who would call the hotline, and although it was SW plus first responders, did I say SW or SA? This is for SW. Sorry if I said SA any other time, but there's a lot of SA, unfortunately, in the story as well. So shout out to all the survivors. Me too. Anyways, so I really became familiar, and I started developing a compassion and empathy and love for these folks. And it wasn't like I didn't have compassion for them prior to, or didn't have empathy for them prior to, but it's just not something that I had ever worked with. So, working with it for 3 years, I, started really learning. I had such an amazing clientele. If you ever see this, shout out to all of you who would call Sundays from 6 a.m. to noon. I really enjoyed it. And so now on all of my platforms, obviously, it's a safe space for everybody, in particular, people who are in SW. And so, duh, that's my story time, and I'm forever going to be an advocate for people choosing their lifestyle choices. And even if it doesn't look like my lifestyle choices, they don't dress like me, they don't look like me, they don't live like me, as a feminist, we encourage people to make their own decisions. Okay? That's all. Story time. Anyways, Thanks for those of you who watch my content and leave me love. I just found out how to respond to your comments, so I've been trying to do that. Thank you for subscribing. We're slowly but surely building our little YouTube family. I will continue to have more story times like this. If you have topics in mind, please let me know. I have so many stories from my years in academia, and I'm still learning, so I have a lot of stories. But yeah, safe space for everybody. Show love to SW workers, please. Show love to everybody, honestly. And shout out to the people that I know that are in this work. Shout out to my OnlyFans girls. They are bad. And shout out to you for watching this, because obviously somewhere in your heart you have a love for compassion and kindness towards all too. Mwah! Love you. Good night.